If you've been living with pain for months or years, there may be one question that keeps coming back. Why is this still here? Over the past 20 years working in medicine and through recovering from chronic pain myself, I've learned that people can get stuck for very different reasons. Sometimes the missing piece is in the treatment itself. Sometimes it's in the way pain has changed how you move and live. And sometimes it's emotional or something happening inside the healing process itself. I'm going to show you 5 of the biggest reasons I see, so you can recognize which ones may be keeping your own pain going. Let's start with the one that can make almost everything else you're doing less effective. Imagine that one of the lights in your house keeps flickering. Naturally, you change the light bulb. It keeps flickering, so you try another one. Maybe a better one this time. Still the same problem. Eventually, you begin wondering whether the problem is somewhere else. Maybe it's in the wiring. And changing the bulb again isn't going to solve a problem in the wiring. Something very similar can happen with chronic pain. Your back hurts, so you treat your back. Your neck hurts, you treat your neck. Your knee hurts, you strengthen your knee. Maybe you stretch, massage, change posture, exercise, maybe even rest. Maybe you try medication or injections. And all of that makes complete sense. You're treating the place where you feel the pain. And I know how frustrating it can become when you're genuinely trying to help yourself and the pain keeps returning. There's one distinction here that can completely change how you understand pain. 2 people can feel very similar pain in exactly the same part of the body, while the mechanism creating that pain can be very different. And when the mechanism is different, the treatment has to reflect that. Sometimes the painful body part is like the light bulb. It's where you're experiencing the problem, while the mechanism maintaining the pain may involve the brain and nervous system much more deeply. This is where neuroplastic or nociplastic pain comes in. In this type of pain, the nervous system has become hypersensitive and overprotective. Don't get me wrong, the pain is completely real. The sensations in the body are real. And the nervous system can continue producing pain even when ongoing physical damage no longer explains what you're experiencing. That means someone can spend years repeatedly treating the painful area while barely addressing the mechanism that's maintaining the pain. And if you're thinking, well, maybe that happens, but surely it's quite unusual, the numbers are surprising. Around 90% of chronic low back pain is classified as non-specific, which means that there's no identifiable structural medical cause that explains the pain. In the data I use for chronic neck pain, which is the official data, the number is around 67%. Nociplastic mechanisms are also highly relevant in fibromyalgia, migraines and tension headaches, irritable bowel syndrome, and other chronic pain conditions. The practical question begins to change. Instead of repeatedly asking, what else can I fix in my back, begin asking what mechanism is creating my pain. If the mechanism is mainly neuroplastic, treatment can begin addressing the brain and nervous system directly, reducing dangerous signals and creating new experiences of safety. And if you're thinking, how would I know whether this could actually apply to my pain? I've prepared something specifically for that. I have a free pain healing starter kit, and I've added a neuroplastic pain fact sheet to it. It explains the mechanism simply and can help you begin exploring whether it may apply to you. You can also share it with your doctor, therapist, or physiotherapist. You'll find the link below this video. Understanding the mechanism is the first layer, but something else often happens after you've been in pain for a while, and it can keep feeding the danger system even when you've understood all of this intellectually. Strangely enough, it usually begins because you're trying to protect yourself. When you've been in pain for a while, you naturally become more careful. You bend carefully, you think twice before lifting something, maybe you stop running or going to the gym. You begin wondering whether a trip or a long walk would be too much. And slowly, you can start treating your body almost as if it were made of glass. I want to share something personal here. I understand this reaction very well because I did some of this myself when I was suffering from chronic pain. When something hurts, you don't want to make it worse. You don't want to do something today and pay for it for 3 days. So becoming careful feels completely logical. At the same time, your brain is learning from the way you behave. Every time you avoid bending because it feels dangerous, your nervous system receives information, like bending may be dangerous. Every time you avoid exercise because you're afraid of a flare-up, here's what your brain hears: exercise may be dangerous. And every time you cancel something because you're afraid your body cannot cope, the system receives another little piece of evidence that your body may be fragile. You don't have to consciously believe any of this. The learning happens through experience. Pain creates fear. Fear changes behavior. And that behavior can give the nervous system more evidence of danger. Picture this for a second. Imagine a circle around everything in your life that still feels safe. First, one exercise leaves the circle. Then, long walks. Then, travel. Sometimes, hobbies, social life, work, maybe intimacy. And slowly, life begins organizing itself around avoiding pain. We've known for decades from fear-avoiding research that fear and avoidance are strongly connected with chronic pain and disability. And this gives us an important clue. What feels dangerous to the nervous system can gradually expand. Fortunately, learning can also move in the other direction. You don't need one heroic moment where you prove that everything is safe. Healing usually involves slowly expanding the circle again. You bend a little and discover, well, I was okay. You walk a little further and discover, my body handled it. You gradually return to an activity that feels manageable. And each experience gives your nervous system new information. Over time, the body can begin feeling less like glass and more like something strong, flexible, and safe to live in. And if this way of understanding chronic pain is helpful, give this video a thumbs up. It helps you to bring this information to other people struggling with the same questions. So far, we've looked at the mechanism creating the pain and at the way pain can change your behavior. But movement is only one stream of information reaching your nervous system. Another stream is running all day long, even when you're sitting completely still. Imagine you're making bread. You use good flour, you add the right amount of water, you knead it carefully, and somehow it doesn't come out right. So you buy better flour, you knead it longer, you adjust the temperature, you keep improving everything you're already doing, and all along one essential ingredient is missing: the yeast. Chronic pain treatment can sometimes look very similar. We work on muscles, we strengthen and stretch, we use medication, we work on sleep or inflammation, and many of these things can be helpful. Yet, someone can still feel that an important part of the picture hasn't been reached. The missing ingredient I want you to consider is something medicine itself has recognized for decades. We describe pain through the biopsychosocial model. Bio is what's happening physically. Psycho includes thoughts and emotions. And social is the world around us and how it affects us. All three reach the same nervous system. Think about a pain flare-up. There's a sensation itself. Then perhaps, what if this is getting worse? Maybe work has been stressful. Maybe you've been feeling helpless because you cannot do something you used to do. Maybe a doctor told you your spine looks terrible or old. And maybe you've been reading frightening stories online. All of this reaches the same nervous system. The brain doesn't divide life into neat boxes. Physical sensations, expectations, and stress, fears, all influence how safe or threatened the system feels. And pain itself is closely connected with protection and perceived danger. So emotions belong in this conversation. But once people hear that, another question immediately appears. Which emotions should I actually be paying attention to? You want to start very close to the pain itself. For instance, you can ask, what am I afraid of when this symptom appears? Or what frustrates me? Or what makes me feel helpless? Or what happens in my life when the symptoms become stronger? Or what thoughts immediately appear when the pain increases? These questions begin bringing the emotional and social part of the nervous system back into the treatment. And once people discover that emotions matter, something very interesting often happens. They begin looking for the emotional cause. They go backwards. Was it trauma? Something from childhood? A suppressed memory? Something hidden inside me that I haven't found? Sometimes that exploration can be deeply meaningful. I've also seen people spend years searching there, while something much more immediate continues happening every single day. So let me give you an example. Imagine walking into your kitchen and finding water all over the floor. A catastrophe. Naturally, you want to know where it came from. Was there an old leak? Was the plumbing installed incorrectly? Is there a problem somewhere inside the wall? You can investigate the entire story of the plumbing. Meanwhile, the tap is running right in front of you. I once worked with a man around 40 who had back pain. He had done a lot of psychotherapy. He had explored his childhood, difficult experiences, and trauma. He had gone back through memories as early as around age 3. And his pain was still there. At one point, he looked at me and asked, "So, how much further back do I still need to go?" That question stayed with me because it points to an important distinction. There are two directions in which we can look emotionally. The first is toward emotions that existed before the pain, like stress, trauma, relationship difficulties, maybe major life events, emotional conflict. These can absolutely be relevant. Then there's another group of emotions that exists because pain is now part of your life. For example, fear that you've damaged yourself, fear of movement, fear that pain will never end, maybe frustration, helplessness. For some, it is constant worrying and monitoring, like waking up and immediately checking, is it still there? Thinking, what if I'm still like this a year from now? This next part is really easy to overlook. These emotions are happening now, and each one can send another signal of threat into an already sensitive nervous system. Someone can spend an hour looking for an old leak and then spend the rest of the day with the tap of present-day fear still running. So I like to ask both questions. What was happening emotionally around the time my pain began? And also, what is my pain making me feel right now? That second question is very easy to overlook. And for many people, this is where an important part of the healing work begins. The fear generated by the pain itself needs attention, reassurance, and gradually new experiences of safety. So if this perspective is useful and you want more videos combining pain science with practical mind-body tools, subscribe to the channel. This is exactly what we explore here. Now we've reached an interesting point. Someone can understand the pain mechanism, they can start moving again, they can work with their emotions and fears, and still a quiet voice may be saying, yes, but what if my case is different? That last piece can behave almost like driving with one foot on the accelerator while the other is still pressing the brake. Imagine you're trying to drive forward. One foot is pressing the accelerator. The other is still pressing the brake. The car may move, but it's receiving conflicting instructions. You can understand something intellectually while another part of you remains unconvinced. One part says, I understand that my nervous system can change. I'm trying to return to normal activity. Another part says, maybe something really is damaged. Maybe the doctors missed something. Maybe this works for other people, but my case is different. Doubt tends to appear in two forms. First, doubt about yourself. I've had this too long. I'm too old. My condition is too severe. Maybe other people can recover, but I can't. Then there's doubt about the explanation or the process. Maybe this really is structural. Maybe movement is harming me. The nervous system receives information from what you think, feel, expect, and actually do. So if you're telling yourself, I'm safe, while repeatedly checking the painful area, your behavior is sending another message. The same thing can happen when you reassure yourself and then continue avoiding every feared activity. Here's something I want to tell you because it can take a lot of pressure off. People sometimes respond to this by putting enormous pressure on themselves. I need to believe this completely. Actually, you don't. Confidence develops through evidence and experience. Learn about the mechanism. Notice when your symptoms behave in ways that don't fit a simple structural explanation. Notice moments when the pain decreases. Gradually return to activities that feel manageable. Pay attention to small successes. Start collecting experiences that tell your brain, I did this and I was okay. My body handled it. The symptoms change. This can change. Each one of these experiences takes a little pressure off the brake. So just remember that the brain is plastic. A nervous system that learned to become more sensitive and hypervigilant can learn to become less sensitive. And as your experiences send a clearer message of safety, the pain system can begin changing as well. So if you're still trying to understand whether neuroplastic pain may apply to you, remember that the neuroplastic pain fact sheet is inside my free chronic pain starter kit. It's there to help you understand the mechanism more clearly, and you can also share it with a healthcare professional. The link is below this video. Before we finish, I want to leave you with this. What I hope you can see is that struggling to recover from persistent pain doesn't necessarily mean that your body is incapable of healing. Sometimes you're working incredibly hard, while one part of the pain cycle is still receiving the same old message of danger. Once you can recognize where that message is coming from, you have something much more specific to work with. Persistent pain doesn't automatically mean permanent pain. And one part of everything we've discussed today deserves a much deeper exploration: the relationship between emotions, the brain, and chronic pain. I have a full lecture here where I go much deeper into this topic, and especially Dr. John Sarno's work, which was a pioneer in the field. We will cover what he discovered about emotions and pain and how our understanding has developed since then. If you want to understand that part of the healing process much more deeply, watch this video next.